Moving on to topic two. Jeff, do you wanna introduce the second topic?
Oh,
Because you
when I came up
seem
with this, I was well rested and so full of spit and vinegar, and I'm so exhausted today. I'm sure I can work myself into a an apoplectic rage though.
oh boy.
Um, so, uh, video game developer or console developers companies buying out game developers and publishers.
Mm.
It's a big thing going on to the point where there's a huge lawsuit right now because Sony's trying to prevent Microsoft from, I think it's Activision, based
Yes,
solely on the Call of Duty
that's a big one. Yeah.
series.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I mean, this is something we all learned from like third grade history. Like, uh, consolidations, monopolies, like they stifle innovation, they stifle creativity, they stifle competition. It's the reason that we're stuck with Facebook because Facebook just kept buying up or crushing everything that it didn't like or wanted. Um, Exclusives, I think, are like I understand it from a gameplay or a company perspective. They're bad for the game industry though. It creates fanboyism. It creates, it was like understandable back in the day when everything was made in Japan and Japanese companies like would meet once a year and all their CEOs would battle to the death with katanas. Um, but like nowadays, like it doesn't make any sense. Like the okay, I get like the console developers never make as much money off the consoles as they do off the games sold for the consoles. But like if they're pushing for all digital anyways, which is what they're definitely trying to do, um, there's no reason to have exclusives from a consumer standpoint. 'Cause at that point, it's just a bunch of ones and zeros. It doesn't need the like whatever specific disc reader is in your thing, or if it's Blu-ray or HD DVD or whatever. That's an outdated reference. But um, I'm getting okay now. I'm getting worked up and I'm having problems breathing. So you take
So
over for a minute.
sure. So I feel like we're kind of crossing this line between like you said, developers buying people, and then exclusives being bad, or not the best. And
They're not good for consumers. They're not good for gamers.
okay, so what is puzzling me, I guess, we started with the developers buying, and like that makes you less creative, like potentially, or has the potential of doing that
If
to.
Yeah, if one company owns everything, it has no incentive to go outside of whatever's already making it money.
Okay, so on that point, why are exclusives bad? You just said with exclusives, oh, everything's on one box. These seem like counter points to
Because
each
the
other.
exclusive, that's why like exclusives are why Microsoft wants Activision. They want Call of Duty to be an exclusive, even if it's just timed
Mm,
exclusive.
okay.
And even if they're saying they're gonna do it, they're not gonna do that
Well,
because
yeah, they would obviously, yeah, that's why would you buy it if you're not? However, they said for a few years they're going to keep it on both. Also, it's a giant money resource on Sony's side. Like, why would you throw away all that money? Like, I get it. I'm kind of a mixed bag on whether they're going to make Call of Duty exclusive. I could see the pros of making Call of Duty exclusive because, hey, competition, everybody come
Sony
over to
owns it,
Xbox.
or I mean, if Microsoft owns it, there is they will. Like you can look at the history of like industry and companies. Like it's like when cable companies came out. This is a question or this is a comment for your parents. I'm looking at the wrong camera again.
Yeah.
This is a comment for your parents. When like cable came out, they were originally like, you can absolutely just pay for the channels you want. You don't have to pay for bundles. You get to keep your regular pricing, and absolutely, of course, like you can't get like the five channels you want. You have to buy 6,000 channels, pay for them all. You may not even understand the language of some of them. You don't get to like they will do it. They will make it 100% exclusive.
But my thing is with like Call of Duty. Obviously, Call of Duty is like this huge thing, right? Like we talked about in the last topic. It is probably the most well-known shooter out there. Why? at least immediately, why take all this income from everywhere and just cut it off? To me, that doesn't seem like a smart business move. Once again, on the other side of things, I get it from like, oh, come to our box, blah, blah, blah. But that is a risk. I don't know if that would pay off.
Activision, like, there's people who absolutely buy their console based on what game, you know, like, how many people would buy a Nintendo if Zelda was on one other console?
Sure. So now we're back to the exclusives. Where are they a good thing? Because you said, oh, let's get rid of exclusives.
A lot of people will pick, especially when a new console launches, like, they will pick the one they know that the game, even if it's not on right now, is going to be on. Like, the player base for that is huge.
So competition is a good thing right there.
Yes. But point is, like, you want, like, from a consumer standpoint, as a gamer, I don't want to have to do that. Because guess what?
Sure.
I still can't play Demon's Souls because Sony won't make enough damn consoles.
Sure.
Right? Like, there are things that are always going to be out of their control they won't plan for. Like, nobody planned for all the chip shortages and things like that. You know, Sony raised their prices of their consoles in how many countries, even though nobody can still get one?
They're more, it's being, the manufacturing is catching up, but yes, I understand.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's, games are for people who play games, okay? It shouldn't be up to some CEO to decide who gets to play the game, and then, like, they shouldn't be able to take their ball. If it's a game that they came up with from the ground up, IP-wise, fine, you know? Okay. But if it's something that's, like, historically been on multiple consoles and things like that, like, I wouldn't expect Mario to be on another console. I would have said the same thing about Sonic years ago, too, though. You know? But Sega, you know, Sega's sort of the exception there.
They
stopped building consoles.
I still feel like this is kind of counterpointing each of the things you're saying, because I mean, okay, like the developers are buying things up to build their own brand, and then the other side of the argument is it just like complaining as a consumer, like, oh, I gotta buy XYZ just so I can get my fix, kind of thing. Like, yeah, it sucks. I don't want to spend more money, but isn't that the point? Nintendo has their things, Sony has their things, Microsoft has their things, and then you have independents where, you know, they can go wherever and publish wherever.
Yeah, and like that's right now, that's the thing. But that's the other thing is how many things have we seen get bought up in the last couple of years, right?
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way things are trending. Like, the exclusives are fine now while, you know, everything's kind of spread out. But the more everything gets picked off, you know, you're going to be stuck with, like, it's going to be all of the good, like, it's like well, there's no good way to say this. It's like you're in school and there's some three-way team game, and then, like, the other two teams have picked all of the good kids, and then you're left with the one who can't tie his shoes.
Sure. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I was thinking about this leading into the topic today. I was like, okay, a way I can kind of reference it or think of an analogy is sports. Like basketball teams. I know basketball a little bit here and there. Let's think about the fucking Golden State Warriors. They bought a bunch of good players. They were
goals, right?
I'm sorry?
Basketball's the one with goals?
Yes, you shoot hoops.
Oops, I'm thinking of it.
So
it's still scoring a goal, right?
So they bought up good players, they won a bunch of championships. Now on the flip side of that coin, let's look at the current LA or Los Angeles Lakers. They have LeBron, they have Russell Westbrook, and some other players. And they are doing ass as far as I know, because they can't get along. It's a risk. I totally get it. But I don't think this stifles creativity, because now, like, let's say Microsoft. Let's look at the Xbox One launch. Boy, did that suck. Well, we had that that Greek-Roman game. What other exclusives they had? They definitely lost that generation. PlayStation had a lot of good exclusives and story games that kind of drove people to buy PlayStation 4s and get into that ecosystem if they weren't into it already. Xbox is looking at that being like, bro, we fucked up. We need some good shit on our side. Yes, did they buy Bethesda? That's a good win for them from a competitive standpoint. And then they bought other smaller studios, which they believed in and can make good stuff. I think they're going to financially back these companies to be creative to try and win people back over to the Microsoft side. The Activision thing, that is, like we said, is huge. Obviously, they have the pre-established IP. It will be time to tell whether, like you said, they go your route, or Jesus Christ, go the route you said, where eventually they make that exclusive, which to me doesn't seem smart from a financial point, but I get it from a business standpoint and competition. It's tough to say. I don't know, because I'm not obviously there, nor will I ever be in that room or in that position of like, I don't know what's better, to cut it off and make it exclusive, or keep raking in the money and just have it everywhere kind of thing.
Here's where I think on that thought is that, like, when you're at that level, you're talking about like boardroom guys.
Sure.
Like, what are they going to look at? Let's try and make people buy this game and then our console, or let's just try and make people buy this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are people who are so like detached from normal people. They can afford like $600 and a game if it's not bundled with it. Look, we threw in fucking Burger King Sneak Master with the console. They should be happy.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like, it's, and this might just be me showing my age again, but like, I've just, like, we've had lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit of this, like, throughout the history of American industry, where everybody, like, one company buys a bunch of stuff up, and then they're forced to split up into a bunch of other companies that compete with each other until somebody ends up being powerful and buying everything up again, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
You didn't pay attention in history class, did you?
No, I remember Monopoly, Steel Monopoly. I'm blanking on the names, and the oil monopoly. No, I get that. I'm not saying that this isn't scary in that aspect. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But I think we're still at a point right now where these three heads, let's say, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo.
I should say before you get
Sure, go ahead.
I'm not specifically talking about right now. Like, I'm considering like everything.
Gotcha.
Like, right now things are fine, like, pending the outcome of that giant lawsuit.
Sure.
I will say, but yeah, I'm looking at like, where are we going to be in like 10 years? Because the other aspect is game preservation.
Mm-hmm.
The one company owns all the games and they want to switch over to digital, and there's like nobody to stop them. They're gonna, and then once they're delisted, that's it.
Yeah, which I think the whole digital physical debate could be a topic in its own, and technically is a revisit on this show.
Yeah, let's not open that kind of
yeah.
tapeworm.
Yeah. Crap, I lost my thought. Oh yeah, so yeah, right now it's not the biggest threat, but I definitely can see, that will be bad. But as for right now, I feel like it's still in a good, safe place with these three heads. Obviously, there's other independent studios, AA studios, whatever. But you have the Microsoft, you have the Sony, you have the Nintendo. I feel like it's still, even with the acquisitions, I still feel like studios are going to be, like I said, these smaller studios that were bought are going to be financially backed and be able to be more creative to help their side be competitive. Obviously, look at Sony. Once again, they've had all these single-player experiences that are fantastic. Obviously, some are licensed, like Spider-Man, the eventual Wolverine game, and others are, from the ground up built, like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, into Forbidden West. The Last of Us is huge. Uncharted. Like, they have these titles here that are big hitters for them. Are they missing on aspects of their repertoire or, catalog that Microsoft has? Yeah, they don't have a great first-person shooter. They just bought Bungie, but Bungie has stated, like, we're publishing everywhere. And, like, they have Destiny. So they need that. They need, some other hitters, but in the single-player story narrative, like, they're crushing it. And then on Microsoft sides, they don't have that. They bought Bethesda to kind of fill that void. So we're getting Starfield over there, and I don't recall off the top of my head what other studios they have bought, so I do apologize there. But, like, they need to build in those studios to be a competitive force there. And then, obviously, Nintendo's on its own fucking path way over here.
Whatever Nintendo wants.
Yeah.
They have enough money banked from the last 60 years of doing business that they can be in the black for the next 10 years or be in the red for the next 10 years. And
Right. Right.
I was gonna say last console generation didn't Microsoft buy? And I hate to be harping on Microsoft, but like they're the ones that are like in
Sure.
like, front and center
Yeah.
spotlight right now. Didn't they buy up a bunch of like third-party teams, and then like, oh, like we're getting this because they've got all these strong IPs and things like that, and then do nothing with them and end up shuttering them?
Potentially.
I remember that being a complaint last generation where people were like, Microsoft's like, we're acquiring these assets because like we believe in these IPs and we want some exclusives, and then they just ended up closing them all and laying people off.
Right, which is very unfortunate. And I mean, like, I don't know if it's a lesson learned from the Xbox One generation, because like I said, at least from my standpoint, Xbox One generation in comparison to PlayStation 4 sucked. Like I said, from an exclusive standpoint, like you said, there was no point to buy an Xbox if the stuff I want is also on PlayStation and the exclusives I are interesting are on the PlayStation side. So I think hopefully they can learn their lesson from that and be like, okay, we fucked up with the Xbox One generation. We need to get our shit together for the Xbox Series X and S generation. Jesus Christ, their naming convention. And hopefully they can learn from that and be like, oh wait, we need to invest in these and not just be like, do and dick around with it. And go from there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right. Like, I very specifically with Call of Duty, I have no doubt that they're going to try and make that at the very least a timed exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, at a certain point. But it's like with I can't remember who bought Silicon Knights. One of my favorite all-time developers. They made Eternal Darkness. They made
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, what is it?
They filed for bankruptcy in 2014.
Oh no, I'm not thinking Silicon. I mean, I am thinking Silicon's one, but they screwed up. They made Too Human. That's a different thing. Not Visceral. Who did? No, I gotta look it up.
Okay. Let's see. While he's looking that up. So Microsoft acquired through Bethesda, id, Tango Games, Machine Games, Arcane, ZeniMax Online, Alpha Dog, Roundhouse Studios, Activision, Blizzard, which haven't gone through yet, but obviously Call of Duty, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Treyarch, not to mention the World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch, Blizzard Entertainment. They would also get Crash and Spyro. All right, thanks a lot, Game Rant. You didn't give me all the stuff I wanted.
Okay. I remember what it was.
Yeah.
Visceral Games. They ended up, and here's your first big red flag. Bought up by EA. They made the Dead Space series. And this is another concern that I have, where CEOs will chase whatever the hot thing is.
Sure.
And so one of the big complaints about Dead Space 3 was all of the microtransactions that were in the game. Like, what's to stop? Like, luckily, the console heads have not fallen for this as much as certain studios and developers and publishers. But, like, what's to stop somebody who is out of touch from being like, all games need to have NFTs?
Sure.
For example. I remember, like, when achievements and trophies first became a thing. There was a lot of companies who were like, why do we need to do this to be able to have our thing on your game? And it ended up being an innocuous thing, and it didn't matter. At the time, there were a lot of people who complained about it, and that was ultimately a harmless thing. It just gives you a little nice endorphin boost when you hear the ding. But like, companies that are concerned about like cashing in on what's hot and things like that, like if it's somebody who controls the entire console environment, like that's a real concern, I think. Again, they haven't done it so far. I don't see it necessarily being a thing with that specifically. Although, like, they did do that after the Wii came out, everybody insisted that everything had to have some kind of motion control.
Right, and things failed because obviously that wasn't where, I guess, gamers or a lot of people wanted it to go. Same with the NFTs. NFTs got a lot of blowback in games.
Yes. And here's the thing, though. Like, there were a lot of games that could have been great but got ruined because the higher-ups dictated.
Sure.
They had to have those features.
Sure. And that's a fuck-up business-wise.
That's where the creativity gets stifled.
Okay. And as a business, then they fucked up. Then they got to deal with the consequences. Is it unfortunate for us? Like, oh, that license didn't do as great as, we wanted to? Yeah, but it opens up...
Microsoft will never face as bad of consequences as me never getting to get a proper Fable sequel, damn it, because they insisted on having a...
Okay.
They will always have $1 bajillion, and I will never have a... No.
Then don't support them. There you go. Hopefully others are...
I would love to, but we've already decided that The Devil and Me, we're playing it on the Xbox next month, so...
That's news to me, but sure.
Didn't we? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Of course you don't.
Sure.
It was like a year ago.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get on the Sony side, then you can play it on the PS5 or fix the 4.
I don't have a PS5!
Okay, but maybe it's crossplay, or I can fix the 4 like I just said.
No.
Let's see. So Microsoft...
I warned you, I could work myself into an apoplectic rage. And also, you went into this, you should have known you weren't going to get a cogent argument.
Mm-hmm. So Microsoft acquisitions in 2018. We have Compulsion Games, Double Fine Productions, In Exile Entertainment, Ninja Theory, Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, Undead Labs. Let's see. And then Alpha Dog Games, Arcane Studios, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, Machine Games, Roundhouse Studios, Tango Gameworks, and ZeniMax Online.
I didn't know they got...
Yeah, let's see what PlayStation has acquired.
They have... Who made... They fully acquired the Spider-Man level, right?
Insomniac.
Yeah. Yes. I kept wanting to say Raven, but I knew that wasn't it.
Let's see.
I think they own Naughty Dog, too.
Yes. Pretty sure. Yeah, they've owned them for a while.
I don't think they did originally. I think they just, like Jak and Daxter and those games only came out on PlayStation. But then I think around the PS3 era they ended up.
Gotcha. This isn't as nice of an article as the other one. Alright, let's scroll.
It feels like we should have researched this before.
Nah, what's research? Alright, so... okay, so 2019 they bought Insomniac Games.
Sorry, I just want to say, I love that I pulled up Visceral Games on Wikipedia, and in it, all the games they had, but product, PGA Tour and Dead Space. That's what they're known for. PGA Tour and then Dead Space.
Nice. So yeah, 2019 they got Insomniac. 2021, not technically a game developer, but got the Evo Championship Series. 21 they got Housemarque Studio, Fire Sprite, Blue Point Games, Valkyrie Entertainment, Landsengle, that's a new one. Haven Studios, Bungie, Savage Game Studios, and that's all I can see right here. So, they're getting stuff too, including your anime, Funimation, and Crunchyroll, both owned by Sony.
Don't get me started on that. The new My Hero started.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. We're still slacking. Not liking it?
No, it's just like, it's like, oh, it's on Crunchyroll. They kept saying, like, all the new anime is going to be on Crunchyroll. It's still on Funimation for whatever reason, but also, like, searching for anything in the Crunchyroll app. And when you're looking specifically, you can tell.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
because you have to find like, My Hero Academia English dub.
Yeah, it's the different tab. Yeah, Lady and I did that with.
No, put it all under one thing and then let me choose the language.
Yeah.
Don't make it a whole other page.
Yeah, Lady and I did that with Dragon Ball. We're like, wait a minute. No. Yeah, I definitely get the fear, or at least the caution for
Apprehension.
Too much.
Let's call it apprehension.
Sure. Yeah, I get the too much of the acquisitions. If it's slows down,
where we've been screwed over before with this kind of behavior.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get to that point, and I don't think it will based on how strong these three companies are, but like I said, and you said, I understand the tension between from it. Hopefully what this does allow is it does allow companies that haven't been bought to use the creative freedom, like you said, and kind of grow and expand to be more. I feel like a lot of indie... Capcom is independent. No, they have made Street Fighter 5 was exclusive to Sony. It seems like 6 is also going to be exclusive to Sony, but no, they are still independent.
They still do, they have Mega Man,
Monster Hunter.
It's like I was just thinking about this, like what happened with Rare,
Yep.
Like Rare got bought by Microsoft early on, and then they made a bunch. Like they took their most popular titles over there, and they were just like garbage.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do anything with it. Like, when's the last time a Rare game came out that wasn't the retro replay?
Right, that's the last one I can think of.
Yeah, they announced a new Perfect Dark, like at Game Awards 3 years ago now.
Something like that. I don't know. Those announcements always are like, wait a minute, when was that?
Yep. So it's that kind of thing, like.
Yeah, for sure.
If some CEO decides something's underperforming, it's gone forever until they decide to sell it off.
Yeah, I mean, even before this,
Disney vaulted them.
Even before all this acquisition talk, I mean, Activision Blizzard was notorious for that too. I mean, like, all these studios that were working on other stuff, like, oh no, we're gonna use you as a Call of Duty studio now, and it's like, fuck, man, like they were.
Activision
who was like,
things.
Was it Toys for Bob made the Reignited trilogy, which is fantastic. Like, they were just like, nope, we're not doing anything like that anymore. And then the studio near me, Vicarious Visions, was working on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 potentially and 4. And they're like, nope, we're going to, nix that. And now you're Call of Duty. And it's like, fuck. So, yeah.
Like, what does the Toys for Bob do? They do a hat time.
Maybe. Let me look that up. Because, yeah, Toys for Bob. Mad props to them.
They did something else that was really good.
Toys
that I didn't get to play.
Bob.
Sound like you're looking up somebody's Christmas list. Toys for Bob. What's Bob's Amazon?
They did Crash 4, it's out of time. They did Warzone, Call of Duty, Reignited Trilogy, Skylanders, Tony Hawk, Downhill Jam. God, that was gross. And then some earlier titles in the PlayStation 1 era.
There's something... Yeah, hold on.
Oh, hey, Moose. They did Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
Keep talking. I have to look up what it was.
Keep talking and no one explodes. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that kind of sucked from
I
that.
really wish I could play that.
Well, you can. You got your fancy PC now. We can play that.
It's not the same without a headset. You know it.
Oh, you want to do the VR component? I haven't done the VR of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do.
Road trip.
Because I don't want to be blinded to only the one thing and have somebody shouting in my ear.
Jeff, do the thing. Don't cut that wire.
We're actually in another room, which is how it would be with a real bomb disposal.
All right. Well, maybe we'll figure that out.
The person who knows what's going on is somewhere a mile away, and the expendable person is in the room with the bomb.
So yeah, that sucked from Activision. Just like, yeah, we're Call of Duty studio. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we should have included VR games.
Oh, into genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, we gotta go ahead.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not apprehensive just yet, but yeah, I definitely can understand like too much of that is not good for anyone, because then yeah, it just becomes bland. And like obviously Microsoft is pushing Game Pass hard, and I guess they want to get Game Pass on other platforms like you mentioned, like everything on one box. I don't know how that would be good, but yeah.
But I mean, they all like they kind of have it. Sony has whatever the hell they did with PlayStation Plus.
Yep. Yeah, extra premium and essential.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, whatever it is.
I mean,
they
it's
just delisted. They delisted Red Dead 1.
Yeah, that I didn't know about, and that's weird. I don't know why that happened. I'm not sure if it was because Rockstar was going to make the remake of our Red Dead, but then obviously GTA's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I agree. That is sucky.
Yeah. Again, and that kind of leads to the, back to your preservation. But and then Nintendo has their, their Nintendo Online, which, for
Spanish Pass.
The Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, but then you got to pay extra for the N64 games that barely work with controller.
Yeah. Nintendo's not doing the best on that front either.
Well, to be fair, Nintendo's always done terrible at all this stuff. So
sure, absolutely.
I'm not super surprised. The best thing they ever did was the Virtual Console on the Wii U.
Yeah, it was good.
The most seamless usage and user interface. You just download it, you play it on your little one. Which what, I definitely a couple times took my Wii U. I'd be traveling and I'd just plug the Wii U in and play a Virtual Pass game on the handset or the gamepad. I didn't even bother with the TV. This is truly console of the future.
Well, yeah. There's acquisitions.
But yeah,
it is what it is. We'll have to see. And yeah, we're along for the ride.
If any of us are around long enough for the companies to get to that point, who knows?
True.
Spores could take over tomorrow.
Oh God, too real. Well,
yeah, I didn't want to be too real.
Too late.
The cats will run the planet.
Well,
and we will serve only to clean up their hairballs.
Ugh, I do that enough. Well, everyone, this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and today I was joined once again by Jeff, aka Jeff Fred Gaming. Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show today and for your patience with rescheduling.
Don't worry, I knew you'd pay for it as soon as we got into something that got me worked out.
Yeah.
Maybe I was talking and I was like, wait a minute, this is I'm backtracking over something and how do I tie these?
I've done that before. Wait.
How do I talk long enough to figure it out to keep him from interrupting and pointing out another flaw to add?
Yeah.
Luckily, talking without thinking about what I'm talking about has always been a strength of mine. So.
There you go. If you guys want to catch the podcast live and go to Twitch, oh yes, Jeff, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was asked to ask you a very specific question.
Okay.
By Reggie, who can't be here tonight because she's on a work trip somewhere. Yo, one more grounded
soon. I didn't want to interrupt Spooky Tober, so maybe. Ugh,
Are you kidding?
I know November we got busyness, but
terrified of that game.
Yes, more grounded soon. We'll have to figure that out.
Nobody runs into more spiders than me.
True.
It's like they've got my in-game pheromone scent.
You stank. They hunt you down. But yeah, I'm excited for the for release. Yeah. If you want to catch the podcast live, go over to twitch.tv/Enigma911 where you can catch us live, usually on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Join the chat like Rainbow and Lady did today. Joining all the fun and the conversation. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, wherever you guys are listening, watching, whatever it may be, please, if you can, help us out by leaving us a like, a comment, a share, a review, whatever it is. It may seem small, but it does go far in the long run. And also, if you want to support, you can go to the merch store over there and grab some swag for yourself. Last but not least, I think I already said that, but still, last but not least, Extra Life is coming up. We got 2 events for you. First, Jeff Red Gaming, Jeff, is having his Extra Life on Saturday, November 5th at 12 Central. He's going to be playing Mass Effect Andromeda for 24 to 25, if he's nuts, hours. He's got a lot of fun prizes.
We've got prizes. Everyone who donates $10 or more gets a drawing into the prize pool. Every $10 gets you an additional one. Somebody's going to get to choose what color I dye my hair. Someone's going to get to choose how I shave my beard. I just got in an order of disgusting sodas, which was one of the milestones from last year. We're going to be doing that during this year's Extra Life, the gross soda taste testing. I know there's at least a ranch and an enchilada in that mix somewhere.
Oh, God.
And one that's just sour. Flavor is just sour.
Nice. So, yeah, guys.
The prizes range from anywhere from Amazon gift cards to a really sick Mass Effect sushi set.
Ooh, nice. So, you guys, make sure you go check him out over there on the 5th of November, twitch.tv/JeffRegGaming. Just JeffReg. Twitch.tv/JeffReg.
Yep.
YouTube.com/JeffRegGaming. Check those out over there.
I really ought to change those.
If you could watch and donate, that'd be great. But if not, just spread the word. Every bit helps. And then for us, Extra Life is going to be on November 26th. Also a Saturday, it's going to be at 12 p.m. Eastern. And, just chaos over there.
An outdoor one, right?
I'm sorry?
Still doing an outdoor one that you were talking about? You were talking about doing an outdoor one?
Yeah.
Doing an outdoor one?
No.
You and lady just going to go paintballing in November, right?
If it's warm enough, we could do outdoor stuff, but, no, the summer Extra Life did not pan out this year.
Here's what we do. Lady's the main character. She, has a camera on her head, and she just hunts you with a paintball gun through the woods.
Fun. That sounds very fun. Too bad I don't have my paintball gun anymore.
I'll donate one.
There you go. But that Extra Life's coming up on November 26th. A lot of people over having some fun, some chaos, a lot of wide variety of games there. So if you can help us out, twitch.tv/Enigma9011. Or once again, just spread the word. It means a lot. Jeff, thanks for being on the show today. It means a lot. Thank you. I'm sure we'll see you on here again. So you can continue your streak of most return guest.
Hey, this was a fairly normal one.
It was.
Okay. I didn't break anything. We didn't get into any crazy weird topics.
Yeah.
Nothing ran on for 3 hours like the time Lady and I talked about Mass Effect.
Yeah.
We still hold the record for the longest one.
You do, yes. Saying I couldn't put it in one big video? Yes, you do. Yes. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.